The wait is over, ladies and gentlemen. Before we jump into this game, I just want to ask you one small thing. Because there were a lot of predictions on AoEs on how many AoE 2 players will pass. So far, quite a lot of players in the semifinals are still from AoE 2.
Yeah, a huge amount of them. They're doing incredibly well. What is it? It must be double digits still. There's Jordan, Viper, ACCM, DauT, Capoch. Did Slam get up there as well? I think
Slam is still playing, yep.
Yeah,
So,
Valise. So yeah, just so many people.
yeah,
So
all
AoE2
the
definitely
GL
making a
boys are
great
in,
showing.
Hera is in. So, looks like the people that have a lot of tournament experience also benefit from this best of one format because it's very, very punishing. Anyways, with that being said, welcome everybody to the first game in this best of three now in between DauT and Don Artie. To the north, it's DauT as the French in blue. Down south is Don Artie in red. The players can choose whatever civilization won for the first game, but after that, if you win with a certain civilization, you can't choose that civ anymore.
Yeah, so Don is going to be very happy with this matchup. So he's on the English, DauT obviously on the French. For anybody unfamiliar with these two players, Don has only played English today. DauT has only played French today. So they are very comfortable with these civilizations and probably with this matchup. Interestingly, Lidakor, we have been seeing more and more on the ladder that people are playing English. It is coming out in droves recently, and primarily that is because of its power against the French. So I'm curious to see exactly how DauT is going to be able to counter Don Artie's potential English play here. How are you feeling about this matchup?
I feel like the key thing here is that the French cavalry production at the beginning is very, very slow. You have one building to produce your military at. It's very expensive units that take a long time to train. Whereas the Britons are just masters of flooding units early on, getting a lot of longbows out, and if they have adequate spearman support, you can try to play very aggressive and try to push off DauT from the gold. DauT has a very, very good gold mine at the back of the base. His backup gold is also very nice. So I would say DauT's base looks absolutely impressive, aside from the fact that his berries are quite exposed.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But one of the things to note, Don Artie already going for a mill and researching, I would suspect, wheelbarrow already. So yes, we do see a Dark Age wheelbarrow. So you might have seen some memes saying friends don't let other friends research wheelbarrow in the Dark Age. But it seems that wheelbarrow in the Dark Age is becoming a bit of a thing, it seems. And take a look at this, already out on stone for DauT.
Oh, he's a boomer. But
He is a big boomer, isn't he? 2 vills on the landmark as well. He is not fussed at all about getting up to the second age. He's like, you know what? We're going for a bit of a stroll today. We're going to take it slow. Plenty of villagers already out on wood as well.
I kind of feel like he's doing the right thing. He knows exactly that if there's one civilization that's very, very good at defending against the early knights push of the French, that's probably the English. With a network of castles, fast longbowman production, chance to add spearmen early. So I feel like I think he's doing the right thing. He's adding a second TC soon because that's why he's mining stone. Now, funnily enough, if he just went for knights, like a full super aggressive feudal age, he could punish Don Artie because Don Artie is delaying his feudal age here quite a bit. I wonder if he's expecting DauT to go for 2 TCs and that's why he's delaying his feudal, knowing that DauT won't push him that much anyways.
Yeah, that could be it. Maybe he's worked out that the counter to this is getting that early wheelbarrow in. We actually see a nice little villager pop through the town center. Did you see that, Lidakor? He popped 2 of his villagers from sheep around the town center and took them out onto the wood line. I'm not sure if anybody saw that. He just did another one, I think. There he goes again. Look at that. 2 more villagers. Just look at him popping them out. Look at that. Can you see that? That is impressive stuff from Don Artie. I have not seen any player do that yet. That is very nice.
It's not a big thing, but it's a small increase in efficiency, and if you have the APM to do it, sure enough, you can do it. Now, the villagers always exit on one side of the town center, I believe, so you see there's that little gate. So you can just sort of plan this one anyways. You garrison, ungarrison, you save a couple of villager seconds with that.
Yes, wow. That's great to see from Don. I didn't even realize you could do that in AoE 4. That was a very common micro tactic that people were doing in Age of Empires 3. It was called, I think it was Vill popping. So great to see from Don already transitioning over. So let's take a look at the Fog of War and see what these players have uncovered at this stage, or what they've scouted out. Don Artie yet to spot out the base of DauT just this early. Now, keep in mind, Don is the kind of player doesn't really like to scout too much. He sort of has his own plan and just sort of sticks to it. Let's take a look at DauT's perspective. I'm curious if DauT knows anything about Don.
Nope.
Let's have a look. And yeah, not really spotting him out either. So now just going to send a delayed scout. Don really not being able to spot anything because, as we mentioned, all those resources are in the back of his base. Going to be dropping down that archery range. And Don Artie losing his scout already. This is terrible for Don Artie. One of the big things in this matchup is that if you lose your scout, it feels really bad. So one of the things to note as well, though, from the positioning of the School of Cavalry, Don may be able to infer that a defensive play is coming.
Yeah, I feel
so
like... I feel like from the fact that he's not being actively raided by cavalry, that's already enough for him to tell. He's going for a barracks as well. So he might be the one on the offensive because he's going to play 1TC. He's adding a new scout on the town center, so he really wants that information. One thing I wanted to add to the scouting part is that these two civilizations are so predictable with their early feudal age that you're just not forced to scout what your opponent is doing because you know exactly it's School of Cavalry. It's just a matter of how many knights, really.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I don't think we've seen any knights coming out just yet from DauT. So it may be a little bit concerning, at least for me, from watching from DauT's perspective, because he needs to get a start on those knights as soon as possible, because Don is really going to start his reinforcements and probably moving out across the map. But we don't actually see much military coming out from him just yet. We've just got the barracks. We've got... Is there any longbows that are out yet? Is that our first longbow out of the game at 6 minutes 20? Oh, he's putting them into the town center. Very smart from Don. So hiding away his military from the scout. Also, if the scout moves into range of the town center, he's also going to be shooting that dead very quickly with those extra units in the town center. So very smart.
Yeah, I feel like Don Artie is trying to bait his opponent in here. Try to hide the longbows in the town center. Sort of tell DauT, hey, I have 2 spearmen protecting my wood lines. Might as well come in and raid. And then jump on them with like 15 longbows and just take them down. But DauT doesn't really care. DauT is just gonna do standard DauT things and boom. And that's the dangerous thing when you're playing against DauT. If you are playing very, very defensive, because you're scared that he's just gonna overrun you with knights, he's just gonna boom away, and currently he's at 35 vills, his opponent is at 26, so that's already like 30% advantage.
It's a pretty significant advantage that is already beginning to build for him. And once again, my concern now is that we actually see Don almost sniping out that scout towards the south, but Don's push that he inevitably is going to be coming out might be happening a little bit too late. Is he adding a blacksmith at the front here as well? So probably going to be seeing a siege engineering coming in here. Probably going to be looking to deny this second town center that is up. And keep in mind, ideally what Don is looking for is to even up the villager counts, not necessarily to even up the town center count with that push. But plenty of military just hiding inside that town center at the moment.
Yeah, the tricky thing here for DauT could be that if he has 0 army, he could still have his base leveled. Don Artie doesn't necessarily need to kill the villagers, he just needs to steamroll the opponent's base. And you see, DauT is now adding army. So now he knows that his opponent is going for army, he's going to start adding his own, and that's where things get tough for Don Artie, because army numbers will even out, but the eco advantage will be heavily on the side of Lord DauT.
Yeah, that's exactly it. We actually see DauT moving away from his main gold as well, beginning to take out the second gold over on the left of the screen at the moment. So really beginning to diversify, making sure that there's not really one spot that is susceptible. He needs to make sure that gold income's coming in from multiple spots, because if he gets hit with longbows on the left side or the right side, he needs to be able to switch and be mobile. So really smart from him to be able to do that.
Indeed, archers and spearmen moving out right now, as it looks like there is the first knight from DauT here, but that shouldn't do much here against Don Artie.
Yeah, Don picking it up before anything really happening, just managing to get that one charge on and actually pulling Don's entire army back here. So pretty nice from DauT. I don't think he actually spotted that army and is going to be able to scout it necessarily, but it's the fact that he's able to delay this potential push from coming in any amount of time is a really good thing. That's all DauT wants. He just wants this fight to happen as late as possible.
Yep. In general, he just wants to leverage the fact that he's 2 town centers and he will just have more villagers. Now, Don Artie is going to have quite a lot of farming eco here, and one thing that he could do, I believe, is try to beat DauT to Castle Age. Use 1TC and leverage the English farming bonus, get to Castle Age, get some crossbowmen out to destroy the knights, and then once you have like 10 crossbows mixed into this army, and you have a couple of rams, that's going to be extremely difficult for DauT to stop.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you completely. We can see DauT training multiple stables now, dropping a second stable down. That scout calling out behind Don Artie's base. He's got to be careful. Looks like a knight might be coming around, or is that a scout that we see down towards the south? But now Don going to be pushing out across the map. 4 knights looking to get into Don's base. 3 already in the base, so now those knight numbers beginning to push up. About 7 knights out on the field now for DauT, and he's looking quite strong. Don Artie's got to be careful. Another villager may potentially go down here towards the back of the base. Spears coming out to meet them, and no villager dropping down just yet.
There's a second barracks coming in as well, but meanwhile Don Artie is moving up as well, and he's gonna pick off a couple of vills.
They're doing a decent little job there, getting some damage on one, killing the other, so not too bad. Don housed at the moment, sitting 60 out of 60. He's dropped one down in an emergency. It's going to take a while for him to undo that mistake, but DauT actually looking pretty decent on score at the moment, pulling ahead by about 500, and we see these spears sitting, waiting, and actually in a bit of a difficult spot. These spears are going to have no trouble, or rather, they're going to have plenty of trouble with these knights. And we see the villagers actually turning around and firing at the knights. Don needs to focus down these knights if he really wants to get a good trade in. He can't let these get away with just even a slitherine of health. And we do actually see he gets 3 of those knights. Pretty decent trade for Don. I think he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't ideal that your eco was idled here, but he killed the knights, and that's the thing that matters. The difficult thing to defend against these royal knights is that they get a bonus damage after they charge in. So they charge on the spearmen, and then they have bonus damage. So the spearmen just die before they can really start doing damage.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And 2 villagers now going down for Don. At the same time, it looks like towards the north of the map, Don may be pushing in on his enemy. More villagers going to be going down for him. So now DauT having a bit of a tough time as these spears together with these longbows, looking to put the nail in the coffin of DauT. But Don's score beginning to fall behind DauT's quite significantly here. Let's take a look at the villager counts, Lidakor. I'm keen to see how their economies are doing.
33 for Don Artie and 58 for DauT. So DauT is a pretty big lead. But we also have to consider that DauT lost quite a bit of map control, so he's got quite a lot of villagers relocating right now, and he's just now setting up farming eco. So his food income isn't amazing, and this is not necessarily a great fight for DauT either.
Yeah, he's managing to take out a fair amount of those spears, but at the same time, at what cost? You can see them splicing and slicing their pikes through it, but looks like Don might be in a bit of a difficult spot now as those knights, all on very low HP, manage to get in on top of the longbows. Don going to be doing his best. Keep in mind that the Royal Knights are upgraded. They've got the +4, the full +4 armor. And so they're going to be tanking in a lot of those damage from Don. And now Don on the back foot at this point, doing his best to try and survive. We see the palings getting thrown down. Anything that he can do to sort of just buy himself some time. But it looks like the cavalry's just run over the top of the palings. I'm not sure whether Don got those out in time. Now finally more spears going to be coming in. And Lidakor, how do you feel the fight's gone for him?
I feel like not well enough for our red player here. Because he has been pushing DauT quite nicely, picked off 1 or 2 vills, but it still doesn't compensate for the fact that Don Artie is 1 TC and his opponent is 2. So DauT is not 61 vills, and that's what DauT is doing so well. He might lose a couple of villagers, but for most of this game, he's able to boom on 2 TCs, and Don Artie is just falling behind so much, and there is no castle age on the horizon for him, or anything that really could break this defense here from DauT.
Yeah, I think it's a curious decision. One of the things to note is that Don didn't really push out too much in the early game. Got to be careful here. Giving up, it looks like 2 longbows for free right there. But DauT going to be losing a knight for his trouble. And now over to the left, just a little bit of a battle happening.
I feel like that was an intentional thing from Don Artie. He probably pulled 2 longbows to absorb all the charge of the cavalry, because right now, keeping the spearmen alive is quite crucial. You don't want the cavalry to charge on them, because you need to keep them alive to fight off the cavalry after charge.
That's actually a really good point. Maybe that's the 600 IQ play that Don Artie just did.
DauT is on 3 TCs. I mean, if you give enough resources to DauT to have 10 TCs worth of boom, he will go 10 TCs boom. He's one of those players, and it's a bit of a gimmick and we laugh about it, but it's very, very powerful. DauT is just so good with this passive-aggressive play. Like, he has enough army to maintain map control, even to harass the opponent. But behind this one, he's just using that map control to build an enormous eco lead. It's right now 40 vills for Don Artie, and DauT is at a whopping 68.
Yeah, 28 villager lead. That is massive, isn't it?
Yep, soon 69. Nice.
All right, Knights going to be moving down towards the south as well here. These Knights are potentially looking to clean up reinforcements, which they are indeed going to be able to do here. DauT knows that Don is sitting posted outside of his base. Can't really engage with him at the moment. Appreciates that the army is larger, and we can see now that those spears are now moving around the outside of the tree line. Don knows that the Knights are down here. He's got to be careful, though. We see more Knights coming out for DauT, and DauT really just making only Knights in this situation. Just doing classic French things here. And so Don, the main thing for Don is that he needs to keep his spear numbers up, because the spears do not counter the Knights hard enough. They counter them well, but not hard enough. And as a result, it really means that he needs to be keeping up full-time production of those spears. And Don actually falling back to his base at this point. So DauT very happy with this decision.
Boss coming in.
Continues to move.
So you see Artie is now falling back here, but here's the deal. It's one thing that he's able to hold this off. It's a different thing that behind this one, DauT is going to have a much bigger army and eco soon. So DauT doesn't need to push this at all. DauT can just sit back and boom on 15 million town centers right now.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And DauT's still beginning to build up that stone as well. We see he's got 690 stone in the bank at the moment now. It's just gone up to 720, 735, so he may look to add another town center. I wouldn't be surprised with this guy, the way that he plays. But look at all those Knights coming out. He hasn't even added an archery range yet. He's just not interested in it. So many Knights out for DauT. And this is exactly it in this matchup. So ideally, you want at least 2 spears to your enemy's Knights. So that means that Artie is going to need at least double that. So he's got 23 Knights compared to DauT. Or rather, DauT's got 23 Knights compared to Artie, who's only sitting on about 30 spears at the moment. So really not a good spot for Don.
We have walls coming in from Artie. Those won't be finished in time, but I think there is enough spearmen to scare away DauT for the time being. DauT probably won't take the risk of fighting the spearmen simply because he doesn't need to take the risk.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And one of the things to note is DauT's actually up to the 3rd age right now behind this. 11 villagers currently making what I believe is the Royal Institute.
I think it's actually the Guild Hall. Yeah, it's the Guild Hall.
It is the Guild Hall, yes.
Of course, it's a boom. This wall just reminds me a little bit of DauT playing Age of Empires 3. Like, after a tournament in 2020, DauT started playing AoE 3 for some time, and he bumped into a player that was just fully walling. And DauT's answer was like, I just try to escape MBL, so I play AoE 3. And I still bump into walls, because MBL was so famous of his walls in AoE 2. That is what this reminds me to.
Yeah. It's definitely like that. And I love that he put the walls down and made a gate, and then the units all just ran through the wall to the left of it, because there's a big gaping hole there. But let's not mind that. Don't worry, Don. Now Spear's going to be looking to engage here with the Knights. Keep in mind, these Royal Knights don't have their veterancy status up just yet. Now they've got it in. Also got that +1 upgrade. It looks like +5 sitting at the moment, looking to get that +2 upgrade. Undoubtedly, DauT's going to have that in queue, at least some sort of +2, but that's such a big Knight mass. And one of the things is that he is just going to be able to make full Knights into this. Cantled Saddles is now in as well for DauT. Really getting all those upgrades in, and DauT looking like he's in a commanding position. Despite having only 1 unit type in his army, he's able to get away with just making that unit because his economy is so damn big.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the reason why DauT is able to do this is because he's at 96 villagers and his opponent's at 49, so he can just win with any kind of unit here because he can make a lot more of them, and that's gonna be an ugly battle here for Artie.
Yeah, it's definitely not the battle Don wants. I think Don probably knows at this point that it might be over. I'm suspecting that we're going to see, as you can see towards the north of the fight, or the top of the fight, the Knights are now just overwhelming the spears completely, countering them absolutely well. And it's not even close. And I think Don's going to realize that now that his opponent is up in the 3rd age with all of these upgrades, that he's not going to be able to really give that much more of a challenge to him.
No, there's almost double the population for DauT, and I feel like Artie is about to turn into dead Artie.
Yeah, that's good. I'll give you that. Yes, I've got the same feeling. It definitely seems that way. The spears doing their job to... You can actually see they stunned the cavalry at the back there, nullifying that charge. But Don going to be running back to his base, and somehow these Knights have gotten through the walls that Don put down, but just didn't decide to finish. Classic Artie style. Now, plenty of spears at the front, going to be splicing through those knights. Lidakor, is there any way he could possibly get back into this match?
Probably not. I feel like the best move he can do right now is press Alt on his keyboard and then press F4 while holding down the other key.
I think you might be right, but Don throwing down a Rax, he's got 20 knights in his base, but he decides, you know what, the Rax probably isn't going to cut it. I think we might just have to go with that old F4. Good game over to DauT. He goes up in this series 1-0 against Don Artie. Keep in mind, this is a best-of-3 series, Don versus DauT. And we're going to be coming up with game number 2 very shortly. Let's take a look at some of those stats. Look at that Vil graph. Oh, my lord.
It's just brutal. It's just brutal. And I feel like Don Artie had the military advantage the whole time, but the quality of his units is just not enough to push back DauT. There was like one moment in this game where DauT lost a couple of Vils. Aside from that, it was just a full boom from him. And this is why, as I said, DauT can punish you so badly, because he can play aggressive. But the moment you sit back and settle in for a defense, he's just gonna boom and take over economically. Oh, did we lose Drongo?
No, I'm here. I'm just thinking. That's it. I'm curious about Don, that's all. Because in every game I ever played him, he was very aggressive from the get-go. And yet, in that game, he wasn't. So I'm thinking something spooked him. What's gotten into him?
I feel like the thing that spooks you is that you have a slow-moving army with these spears and longbows, and your opponent has a very, very mobile army. So you sort of just are afraid of the raids, and because of that you try to play defensive, but then the French would just punish you with a boom. That's why they're such a powerful civilization. But it very much seems like we could have a second game soon. Currently, DauT's game is not observable, so he might be reviewing the recorded game. Let's hope that's the case.
Nope. All right, so I think they are still sort of waiting at the moment. I understand that a map has been picked. It's going to be High View. But yet to see any civilization. So for anybody unfamiliar with High View, it's basically Arabia, but with a whole bunch of stealth forests on it. So very good for the French because they are going to be playing mainly a melee army. So if you can have a melee army, it's very good because it allows you to get up on your enemy very easily.
And this is where we have to highlight that you cannot pick the same civilization for DauT now, because he has won with the French, so DauT has to pick something else. Do you think he's just going to try to do something very similar and try to play the Rus here? Because the Rus can achieve something very similar to the French, I would say.
Yeah, I think that we could probably see that out of him. It's important to note that with High View, there are markets that do spawn on the map. So basically, it's the same as Arabia in that there are markets. So we could see him go for a Mongol boom. We've seen him do that before. I actually covered that in one of my YouTube videos. One of the huge booms that the DauT does is just going absolutely troppo with that. So we could potentially see him out of that. And typically it's a very safe market as well behind the base. So he could look to hold that in the early game and then potentially transition it out into a long distance market in the mid game. So hopefully we see some of that.
And you were apparently right. It is Mongols for DauT, and Don Artie will be picking English here. So, once again, Don Artie's slow-moving Civ versus a fast-moving Civ here. I really feel like Don Artie will need to play a lot more aggressive here, but that's just difficult against Mongols. It's the same concept, it's just the only difference is that instead of adding a second town center, DauT will add trade. But it might honestly even be better than adding villagers with the French early on.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I think one of the issues is that I think Mongols may have in this matchup, as we saw in the first game, is that Mongols want to make Magadai. Or rather, in the game that we saw with Don Artie against his opponent, Nan Racing Cat, that the Mongols want to make Magadai, and the English really don't let them do that. Obviously, the archer is the true counter to that unit, and the longbow with its extra 2 range is just going to enable that to be extra potent.
Exactly. So, looks like DauT is about to set up a game here. We will have to wait until the spec countdown winds up as well. But let's talk about the map over here, because there is some things to think about. One thing I like for the English here is that you have a lot of stealth forests. So you can technically hide your army from the opponent's eyes, which is pretty important when you have a slow-moving civilization. You can sort of just conceal your movement and potentially avoid getting surrounded by a large amount of units, or especially a large amount of horsemen if you're playing longbows.
Yeah, it's going to be very curious. I guess I hope Don knows about DauT and knows that he's a boomer, because that would probably inform his play style very well. But nonetheless, yeah, very very curious to see. I wonder what you think. What do you think about Highview? Going for the Mongols. Typically, actually, Mongols should work pretty well on Highview. They do like to make a lot of outposts, and outposts can actually see through stealth forests. So that could work really, really well for DauT.
Yeah, that could work extremely well in general. But I think the big thing is the economy. Like, DauT can just boom so much with this one, as we will have the second game coming up once again. The spec delay will be on. I feel like the problem with the English is that they are just so slow in feudal age compared to the other civilizations that are popular, like Mongols, the French, the Rus even.
Yeah, they are quite slow. Once they get going, they're fine. But yeah, it's about that early game, and that's what I've actually seen Don do a lot of. So that's why I was curious why he didn't really push out and sort of hold that early aggression. And I think against Mongols especially, it's going to be so hard for him to do that, because as we saw in that game that he played versus Nan Racing Cat, it was a game where he was in his base for, what was it, 20, 22 minutes before he was finally able to pick his stuff up and move out. Like it was kind of crazy.
It indeed is. While the countdown is going on, I'm gonna take a small break so you can entertain the audience out here. If you run out of topics, you can always start reading jokes to them, just like I do.
You read them jokes?
Yep, I do. My stream knows that. That when we run out of topics, I just start reading bad jokes from the internet.
Okay, all right. I'll see what I can find. All right, guys, I'm gonna find you guys some jokes. Give me a second here. All right, I'm looking. These are all terrible. These are all bad jokes. The first one is, what's the difference between a good joke and a bad joke timing? That's the joke. It's terrible. It's terrible. All right, we're not going to do jokes. Did you guys get it? You guys got it? All right. I feel like at this point, we need to do like a civilization count from what we have, what we've seen so far and what we haven't. Now, undoubtedly, there's going to be people that do this, okay? There's going to be someone who compiles a list of all the civilizations that were played throughout the tournament and tallies it up. And you're going to see something ridiculous like this. I'm going to throw it out there right now, okay? I'm going to just put it up there. France. How many times do you think France gets picked in this tournament? I'm going to go with like a total of 793 times, right? 793 times. That's what I'm going with. Okay, there was a 512. Actually, it's probably higher than that. Let's go with 1,793 times. All right, what do you guys think the next picked civ would be after the French? Because I'm thinking like we haven't seen any Rus, we haven't seen any Delhi. So I'm going to put those guys, we'll put those guys on like 3, right? Delhi, 3. English, Mongols. I'm seeing a lot of English, a lot of Mongols. Okay. All right, so do we go Mongols? Do you guys think Mongols first or English first after it?
I'm disappointed that you're still talking about AoE 4 and not reading them jokes.
I read them a joke. I read them a really good joke. It was great. Not everybody got it though, so I don't know if it was a really good joke. 511 games, but there are 512 players. Yes, so there's 512 players, but they play multiple times, right? So I'm going to put the Mongols at like, let's say like 160 times. And then I'm going to put the English at 120 times. What else is there? There's China and the Holy Roman Empire. I'll put those at like 6 times. China, we'll put that at like 4 times. I played China. The Abbasid, let's put the Abbasid in as well. So we'll put that in at like 7 times. All right, so our total tally, our final tally is in reverse order. The Delhi, 3 picks. Rus, 3 picks. China, 4 picks. The Holy Roman Empire, 6 picks. The Abbasid dynasty, 8 picks. English, 120. Mongols, 160. And, drumroll, please, for the best civilization of all time, it is the French on 17 million picks. Not really. 793 is what I went with. But there you guys go. That's what we did. We've got 6 seconds until the game starts, ladies and gentlemen. So buckle up, get in. I hope I kept you guys busy while Lidakor was away, but Lidakor's back now. Lidakor, let's get to it.
Indeed. Welcome everybody to game number 2 in this best of 3 between DauT and Artie. The map is High View, as you said. On the left side of the map, we will have DauT playing as Blue Mongols, and on the right side, we will have Artie once again attempting to take a win with the English in red.
Yes, indeed. So the map High View, for anybody unfamiliar with how High View works, basically think of Arabia, okay, but then add a whole bunch of stealth forests. So you would have remembered them from the trailers for Age of Empires 4 at the beginning, where the units are whispering quietly, and that's because inside the stealth forest, it's very difficult to see. Now, there are units that can see over the top of these stealth forests, but the town center is not one of them. The outpost is able to do it. Units that act as outposts as well. So as an example, the Kremlin for the Rus or the Barbican of the Sun, they are also able to do it. And there we see a unique spell being casted, and that is, of course, the Eagle Sight coming in. Is it the Eagle Sight? The Scouting Falcon. I was close, Lidakor. But also seeing above the forest. What are you expecting this game, Lidakor? What are you hoping to see?
Ooh, it's difficult to say, because I feel like the key here for Artie is being able to deny DauT from trading and just being aggressive with the longbows and the spearmen, potentially, if DauT is mixing in some horsemen. Because at this point, DauT's best unit in Feudal Age will be the Mangadai, and that's pretty much hard countered by the longbow spam coming from the Brits. Looking at the market positions real quick, there is a pretty favorable market for DauT to work with, but it's gonna be difficult to protect simply because there's a lot of stealth forests around, so Artie could just hide a couple of longbows in there to harass.
Yeah, I think DauT's going to be pretty happy with this market placement. There's also no tree lines that are really blocking it either, so often you will get tree lines. If you have a look at Don's market and you have a look where the tree lines actually spawned, it actually blocks in his market very poorly. But for DauT, he's got a tree line that's actually kind of protecting it, because eventually he is going to want to move this landmark towards the edge of the map. And so, yeah, so we can see down here towards the south. So he's going to be able to run these traders all the way up on the inside of those tree lines. So he's going to be very happy with that. So, yeah, I'm definitely thinking it's a good spawn for him so far. Don now going to be clicking up to the next stage, dropping down that council hall. 4 villages heading out there to build that one, and a lumber camp going to be going down. Let's check in on DauT. Let's see how he's doing.
Looks like DauT's got the Ohu up, and it looks like he is going to open horsemen. That's probably the thing that you have to do against the English. You simply can't afford to just go for anything else than that. You need something against those early longbows. Obviously, once Artie starts mixing in some spearmen, it's going to be difficult for the Mongol player. But one of the things that DauT will like here is that he can start massing those horsemen while he's going up to Feudal Age, so he doesn't have to wait until he reaches Feudal.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's going to be able to begin building up the mass, so he's not going to have to sort of start from a clean slate necessarily. He's going to be able to have them in transition, and all he needs to really do is upgrade them. But he's going to be allowing his economy to sort of build up during that time. And I love the fact he's just sitting these here. I really wouldn't be surprised if he sort of baits in his opponent and waits for him to push up with units. Or I'm curious to see what he spots. Is there any potential buildings that he can look at igniting?
The gold mine.
Mining camp at the back here.
Yeah, yes. That's very much exposed out there. Everything else is very tightly packed here for DauT, so it's very unlikely that that's raidable. The alternative for DauT is just hiding those horsemen in the stealth forest and then trying to check out on the reinforcements from Artie with the Khan, and then just jumping on those longbows in this stealth forest.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Now, we actually see Don scout towards the south of the map, actually. Going to be scouting out DauT, but this is a little bit too early to scout out something like this. And on a map like this, it's very smart for DauT to have gone for early horsemen. His opponent's going to have absolutely no idea. But moving around the back, he is going to find that gold mine. And it looks like he's just going to be happy with getting a little bit of siege onto it. I don't think the town centre is really going to be able to reach it. And Don Artie reaching the feudal age now at 4 minutes and 19, so a very early feudal from Don.
Yeah, that mining camp is just outside of the range of the town center over here. So that mining camp will be set on fire, giving some extra gold and food for DauT. But there's already the barracks coming in for Don Artie, and DauT, he is still not going into feudal age, so he's gonna have a tough time against spearmen and longbows once they start moving out.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for him. So now the longbows are beginning to fire, immediately focusing the Khan. We now see him grabbing that bonus and just going to be walking out. Just cool guys don't look at explosions. He just turns around and he walks away and collects his bounty gold as he does it. So very nice from him.
Yeah.
Going to be going with the silver tree as we did expect.
I think that it was a nice idea from him to disengage because he doesn't want to take damage on the horseman. Now, DauT is going to repair that mining camp, which is a double-edged sword, because DauT could return any moment to set it on fire again and harvest that gold and the food for it. On the other hand, he obviously doesn't want to lose his mining camp, so yeah, if DauT returns, that could be another chance to set it on fire.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm curious to know about the mechanics of deleting. I wonder if the devs looked into that. I wonder what happens if you delete that mining camp before it gets ignited.
I had an instance when I was casting one game, and it seemed like it's going to give you the gold and food. What happened was that player got his mining camp pushed by scouts and immediately deleted it. So after the first torch, and his opponent got the gold and food. So
okay.
It's possible that, like, let's say if your mining camp takes damage from torches in the preceding 5-10 seconds, a delete counts as a building set on fire.
Right, okay. I wonder if we start to see players just preemptively delete their mines before the units even come in. Oh, look, there's 4 horsemen. Delete quickly.
Oh, look, there's 4 horsemen coming from my TC. Delete quickly.
I don't know if that's how it works, but Don Artie already beginning to push out of his base. This is something we didn't see him do in the French game. He was a lot more defensive in the French game. And now the silver tree. Let's see if the silver tree moves over towards the Uvu. Keep in mind there is 400 stone currently for DauT. He's got plenty of stone in the bank, so he'd be very easily able to do that. Now, again, we see these horsemen around the back. It looks like the spear's going to be out here getting a couple pokes, and he's got to be careful, though, because this spear is getting surrounded. Looks like it may go down here as well.
A nice micro from DauT. He pulled away the weak scout, but it very much seems like DauT is going to lose those horsemen. Those are still early horsemen from Dark Age. His opponent also does... Actually, he has the hardened upgrade, so it's Feudal Age Spearman versus Dark Age Horseman. That's a relatively even fight.
Yeah. I think Don's going to be quite happy with that nice little trade right there that happened. So
look at what he's doing.
Now,
he's going for the market.
Come down, find the Khan. He spots the Khan, or rather the Khan spots him. And now going to continue firing on him. But yes, 100% on the money, going for that market, realizing that he is playing as the Mongols. And undoubtedly, we just that scout in the north of the map, so he would have spotted that one out. But he's yet to really move his silver tree over towards the Uvu. Now stacking up stone, up to 500 stone now. So he's going to need to spend this somehow. And it's a great investment if he can do it. He's actually trading as well. What's he doing with all these resources? DauT has got plenty
fast
of resources
castle, maybe?
right now.
Like, if you think about it, he's balancing his eco like a madman. He was buying food, and I feel like he... Maybe the idea is that he wants to go fast castle men-at-arms, if you think about that, because men-at-arms would beat both spearmen and archers, and currently he just has absolutely nothing in Feudal Age that can beat this army. But since Don Artie isn't pushing him, and he won't be able to secure the trade, might as well go up to Castle Age and get some Mongol men-at-arms in.
I wonder if he tried to sell stone there. You hovered over the market, and it did show that he can't actually sell stone. So I wonder if... You know what? DauT probably knows that he can't sell stone, but his macro looked very, very perfect to be able to sell that stone and get up to the next stage. But yeah, Don now going to be pushing in, and I think you're 100% on the money. he'll realize that once his enemy is stuck in the feudal age, he can just make men-at-arms and really just chase them down and not have too many problems.
He's going up with the step DauT, which is basically a a drop-off building that allows you to drop off more resources. The alternative would be the Kurotai, which would heal your units nearby, but that's only useful when you have army. And oh boy, this is a bit of a trouble for DauT, because he could actually lose the Ovu here.
Yeah, ideally this is something he wants to avoid happening. Stable also going down, getting chased away as it tries its best. And now we see a couple of units diving in to prevent it. But interesting, the fact that he's going up to the second age, or the third age rather. I really feel like English isn't going to be able to do anything to punish this at a significant level. Obviously, now that he's up, we see Don immediately turn around and say, hold on a minute, you're not allowed to do that. And so Don really going to look to apply pressure now. But I think it might be a bit too late for a ram.
Yeah,
ideally, what Don wants to do is get over onto that Uvu and stop any potential double production from happening.
Ooh, and he's gonna go double Lancers. He's gonna pretty much do the same thing that he did before. It's just going to be, instead of having a lot of knights, it's gonna be just Castle Age knights versus Feudal Age ones. And this is what he was trying to spend his stone on. It's gonna be a double knights production. The problem is that Uvu is going down, and I'm not exactly sure what happens to the double production if the Uvu nearby goes down. It might be cancelled.
Yeah, let's find out. Let's sit and watch, because that Uvu is about to go down. It looks like, there it goes, 8 seconds, and it looks like it's still going to get produced, but he's not going to be able to put any more in the queue, it seems.
Yeah, that's actually pretty lucky for DauT, because he now loses the Uvu. And even the stable, potentially, oh, it's on fire.
Yeah, it's going down. I'm yelling timber. That is, that is going down completely. So, and now DauT doing the right thing. DauT needs to distract at this point. He knows he's getting put somewhat on the what's it called? The rope right now. He's getting pushed up against the rope. And so he needs to try and distract Don, and that's exactly what he's done. He sort of feigned a little bit of an attack back towards his own base, and he wants to try and delay Don from pushing in. He needs to build up that mass. We talked about it earlier. As long as he's got that significant mass, he should be okay. But a difficult spot for DauT, definitely.
Yeah, it's a difficult spot, especially because he doesn't have an Ovu, so he needs to train knights one by one, which are quite expensive. They're called Lancers for the Mongols, but they actually are the same unit as knights, pretty much.
Yeah, an interesting design decision there. But three Lancers rather, going to be coming out now, taking down some of these longbows and picking up reinforcements here. So DauT realizing that he's able to sort of put on some damage here, and we actually see a bit of a raid coming down towards the south. Now, Don's got to be careful, because while there's no trading carts that are down here, there are some villagers. So very curious decision for DauT to sort of be down here. He does manage to spot this out. We see the units continuing to march down, and DauT's going to be losing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 villagers. All of them going down.
That's ugly for DauT. And remember that he invested a lot of resources into Castle Age, and so far he didn't really get a good return value from it. Those are resources that Don Artie can invest into army, and now that there's a lot of knights out, there is going to be a second barracks as well for Don Artie. I think he's in a commanding position right now.
Yeah, he's definitely looking good. The fact that he's coming down towards this part of the map just to check and see whether trading is going on actually allowed him to sort of come down onto that. Now, he would have had line of sight on that, and keep in mind that the map does sort of tell you, it doesn't tell you if there's dead deers on the ground, but if the deer has been killed, it no longer appears in the hunt. So he would have seen that, but now Lance is going to be moving in, looking to pick up villagers here. Spear coming out to meet them, say g'day, but gets taken down very, very quickly. A couple more spears beginning to funnel in, but it looks like it's going to be able to repel that raid just for now.
Yeah, I feel like DauT is being annoying here, but he's not actually being very, very dangerous. It's the same thing that we had for Don Artie in the previous game. He was able to harass DauT, but he isn't actually able to do insurmountable damage on the opponent. Looks like a couple of archers will get picked off in the middle. The problem for Don Artie is that he's still stuck in Feudal Age, so that could be a problem in the long run.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He's currently stacking up a little bit of food, but I don't think he's on any gold at the moment. So it means that he's going to have a difficult time getting up to that Feudal Age.
Oh,
look
boy.
at this beautiful trade.
Oh, boy.
Oh, this is really big. This is game-winning big. Oh, they all get stuck in there as well. He takes down all 4 of those Lancers. That right there is a mistake that you should not have made, Lord DauT. And Don knows it. He's pushing straight towards his base. Do we have, I'm curious, do we have a blacksmith from Don Artie right now?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about as well. And
Siege engineering is researched.
Yeah, he's got the attack upgrade, he's got the melee defense upgrade, getting all the all-important ones. Maybe Bloomery as well would help as well, but that's gonna be Rams, and while Rams usually don't work that well here, and in general, it's rather easy to defend against Rams when you can pull the villagers, DauT is just so low on army that these units have enough strength to escort the Rams and just steamroll DauT space. He's gonna try to defend with Mangonels, though, or potentially Springolds.
I do like this. I think a Mangonel here would definitely be very, very strong. The question is whether it's going to be out in time. And look at Don anticipating a raid on the north of the map and just being in a great position, defending it. And look, these aren't French Knights. These are not going to heal back up after this. They're going to take that damage for the rest of the game. Don's going to be careful here. Villager's getting a good little volley here.
There is a Mangonel coming out. DauT needs some enormous Mangonel shots to make this work. He's coming in the raids from multiple directions.
Yeah, I think what DauT really hopes to do is distract Don, really make him just sort of forget about what's happening in his main base, and at the same time hit him with that Mangonel shot. A single Mangonel shot on there is enough to turn the tide of battle. And if he can get it out without Don realizing, Don in a bit of trouble back at home. A lot of villagers looking to potentially go down. Let's take a look at that Mangonel as it's about to pop out now. Don is on the ball. Mangonel doesn't actually come onto the side of the town center. It looks to go out the opposite side. So now going to be coming out.
DC almost down.
Shot comes in.
That's huge.
Big shot. Oh my god. That's an oof right there. And now
but is it enough?
Mangonel shot. Yeah. More Mangonel shot coming in. Lands a pretty decent shot right there. But I think Don's going to be able to get down this town center. All of the villagers have gone down. Town center down to, gosh, what is it, 10 HP? And now Don going to be looking to light that Mangonel up.
That's it, I think. That's it for DauT. He tried to come back into this one, but he's at 25 vills as opposed to 37. One desperate charge in on that ram, and there's still some villagers repairing. DauT is microing them in and out of the town center.
Yeah, this is very, very tight right now. This is almost do or die, but at the same time, are we able to check villager counts at this point? I'm curious, Lidakor. 38 for Don Artie. Let's take a look at DauT. DauT sitting on 23. Oh, geez, that's tough for DauT.
Yeah.
Landmark goes down. I suspect with that, we're probably going to be seeing DauT bow out any second now. And there it is. DauT not victorious this game. Don Artie going up, evening up the score 1-1.
Yeah, what a set. And now, Don Artie showed how you can actually play the Britons if you're playing aggressive. And the difference here is that in a previous game, DauT went for TCs, which are harder to punish than trade is. Trade is quite easy to harass, and that's exactly what we saw from Don Artie. He had a clutch fight on the villagers, picked off like 5. Then, as you said, there was that clutch fight when he picked off like 4 of those Lancers. DauT tried his best, and maybe in retrospective, going men-at-arms would have been slightly more reasonable. But he was counting on those Lancers, maybe tried to use the mobility to raid, but he never was able to raid his way back into the game, though he was behind in terms of villagers for a long time.
One of the things I remember from DauT in Age of Empires 2 is when he's on those meso civs and he's just making eagles out the wazoo. He has got groups absolutely everywhere of them running around the map. And that was what we saw, you know, DauT funnel or channeling that inner meso civ right there on the Mongols. And unfortunately, it looks like he was, you know, he's had so many raids going on, just forgets for a split second about those 4 Lancers, and they all go down.
So now, Don Artie cannot go for English anymore. So what's his second best civilization? Because so far he has been full English.
Yeah, he's very good at French as well, I think.
So first of all, they need to pick a map. There is 3 more maps available. Lipany, which is quite similar to Arabia in many ways. There is Altai, and there is Hill and Dale, which would be a much more defendable map. Do you think DauT could justify picking Hill and Dale and just sort of going for a slow and boomy game?
Yeah, I think he could definitely do that. I'd be curious to see what civilization he opts for in this matchup. Keep in mind that Don does have the French in this matchup available to him. So yeah, going to be a curious one. I'm wondering. I'm wondering how it's going to play out.
Yep, we will have to wait for a moment until they pick their civilization. I'm going to try to pull that up. But first they need to pick a map. I believe it's losing player's home map, so it's gonna be DauT picking it. And we already have the civilizations. Drum rolls. You're right about Don Artie. Make a guess on what DauT is picking.
I'm going to go with the Mongols on this map just because actually the Mongols won't really work that well because you could just wall up. What would you go for? I don't even really know DauT's choices. Maybe Abbasid? Abbasid could be good here because he knows that his enemy is going to potentially go knows that his enemy is going to go French. That could work.
Instead of saying the Civ, I'm just gonna tell you a story. Yesterday, I saw DauT stream. He was playing, I think, a ranked game versus Hero. And he picked Holy Roman Empire, saying that he loves the civilization and he wants to make them work. He picks HRE for the final decider game.
No way.
Yep.
He picked Holy Roman Empire into France?
Yep. Now, DauT absolutely loves spamming infantry. For those of you that are coming from Age of Empires 2, the Holy Roman Empire in this game is pretty much the gods of Age of Empires 2. Flood infantry all day. And he actually beat Hera yesterday in a ranked game. It was HRE versus Russ. DauT is just going full spearmen. Hera was trying to go cav archers. And then DauT had like 50 spearmen and 10 springolds. And he won the game with that.
Interesting.
So we'll have to look for DauT. He is setting up the lobby right now. But I think the Holy Roman Empire is a very underrated civilization in many ways. It's rather weak in Feudal Age simply because they have a pretty low diversity in their units. And in general, they have low mobility, just like the Britons. But they have an extremely powerful economy. And DauT has a special build for this one. I saw that in the ranked game as well. DauT goes for 2 prelates early. So he's going to have a prelate that's specifically designed to just boost his gold income, and one that's designed to boost the food and wood income. That basically means that when he reaches Feudal Age, he has like 700 food in the bank already.
Yeah. It's a huge amount. I'm wondering, could he potentially go for a fast castle here? This is a map that does lend itself to that, but at the same time,
it's a little risky against French. I think it's spearman defense into just having a better economy, and then getting to Castle Age, and then going for spearman Springgold, spearman siege or so.
The one thing that concerns me most for Don is, so he plays pretty much a lot of ladder, not a lot of customs, and he has got almost no experience against the Holy Roman Empire. He probably has no clue what their unique unit is or what it does or how to pronounce it, because I'll be quite honest with you, Lidakor. I've got no idea how to either.
Okay, but, so German lessons here. It's pronounced as Landsknecht. Okay, Lands, like lands, just lands, and then Knecht. So like it's a...
Knecht.
Yeah, Landsknecht.
Landsknecht. And then when it comes out, it's like, Landsknecht.
No, definitely not.
It sounds terrible.
The biggest problem with the pronunciations, and I was taught how to pronounce it by YouTube comment sections, so it's 100% reliable, is that you don't say sh in the middle. It's actually s. So it's like Landsknecht.
Oh, Landsknecht. So it's not Landsknecht, it's Landsknecht.
Yeah.
Ah, so it's kind of like Landsknecht.
Yeah, you just put a little bit more pressure on the D. It's like Landsknecht.
Landsknecht. Oh, I see. That's good. Landsknecht. Okay. We're doing German lessons with Lida.
Yeah, indeed. And the plural in German is Landsknechte. So when you say more Landsknecht, it's not Landsknechts, because that sounds way too ugly. It's like Landsknechte.
Okay, and what's your opinion about the term land sharks? Because a lot of people just say land sharks instead.
There is an alternative, by the way. That's the easy way of getting it. You can either call them two-handed swordsmen because they actually carry just a two-man sword, or you can call them Zweihandlers because the sword that they actually carry is a Zweihandler.
Zweihandler. Okay.
Yeah. Zwei means two in German, so Zweihandler means like two hands sword.
Okay, all right. I think I might go with that. Two-handed swordman coming in now to clinch the victory. All right, so this is really, new guard versus the old guard. So for anybody unfamiliar with Don Artie, he's from the Age of Empires 3 community, And he used to be a team game player only. But in Age of Empires 3, when the Definitive Edition came out, they took away ranked lobbies. So it meant that it was really hard to get balanced team games in. So he just started playing 1v1. And it turned out he was actually pretty good at it. And there was a big tournament in Age of Empires 3. And he actually took out the favorite for that tournament in a 5. It was a best of 5, and he won the series 3-2. And it is considered by many to be one of the best series of all time in that game. So now going to be coming up against DauT, and obviously you guys will be very familiar with DauT. He's been in the scene for how long, Lidakor? Lida's not here, man. He's been in the scene for a long time. I'll say that much. DauT has been in the scene for since 1999, 2000, 2001. Lidakor probably just gone for a little bit of a break. I probably should have checked my DMs. Yeah, you just said AFK for 2 minutes. My bad, guys. My bad. I probably should have checked that. But DauT is a titan of Age of Empires. He's been around. Him and Capoche have both been playing this game since the early 2000s, probably the late 1990s. They were winning tournaments back then, and they are winning their games right now as well. So really good to see from him. So it's very much new guard up against the old guard in regard to that factor. I'm curious to know right now, who do you guys think is going to win game 3? We've had Don Artie losing the first game. We've had DauT losing the second game. But who do you think is going to lose the third game? Or rather, who do you think is going to win the third game? At the moment, we've got a poll that's going up right now. Get your vote in right now. If you can't see it at the top of your screen on the top right, just above chat, make sure you refresh your stream. It is up there. At the moment, we've got DauT sitting on 69%. Nice.
What?
Very nice, chat.
69%. Okay, we gotta balance it at 69. That's the target now. 66. No, stop voting over there, as we got a big raid coming in from Winter Gaming. Thank you so much for the raid over here. We also had Winter Gaming playing in a tournament. Not sure when exactly he finished, which round. But thank you so much for the raid. I am fairly certain that EGC TV is very happy. And we're getting close to 9,000 viewers on the stream. Bring your friends.
That's impressive.
Yeah, bring your friends, bring your enemies. It's time to crack 10k.
Bring it. Yeah, as long as we're over 9,000, I'm going to be happy. That's an important number to be over the top of. But yeah, excited to see Winter Gaming over here. I'm curious as to whether that was... I'm assuming you probably suffered the same fate I did, Winter Gaming. Look, it's a tough crowd out there today, tough pool of competitors. But at least you didn't go out in the round of 5-12 like I did. So thank you very much for the raid. Thanks for bringing in all the fellas. All right, we've got another minute and 20 until the game begins. How are you expecting the game to unfold? Now, this is Hill and Dale, which is a very boomy map. So DauT is going to love this.
I think Hill and Dale is actually the best map for the whole Roman Empire from the lineup. It's a slow-paced map, very well defendable, so you can really leverage that bonus of having a very, very powerful eco and just build up your otherwise very slow-moving army behind that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's also important to note he's going to be able to wall out his flanks as well, so there's not going to be too many raids that manage to get through. If he really wants to, he can wall the front as well, gate that up, so it's going to be nice and safe as well from any potential threats.
Indeed, it's only 30 seconds to wait. How do you feel so far about the entire day? I'm actually curious about your opinion now, because we are sort of deep into the first day of major competitive Age of Empires 4. Did the games that we have seen match your expectations?
Look, there's been a lot of French, and that is expected to happen when you do something a week from release, because balance is not going to be perfect at any point in time, let alone a week from release. But other than that, I think it's been absolutely on point. Games have been absolutely spectacular, and I'm looking forward to this game as well. Lidakor, go ahead and introduce our players. Who have we got playing down here in the south, or in the west of the map?
So welcome everybody to game number 3 in this best of 3 between DauT and Don Artie. The winner moves into the finals, I believe. We will have on the left side DauT as blue Holy Roman Empire, and on the right it is Don Artie with the French.
Yes, it is indeed, and there's quite a fair bit of fog on this map. There is something to note that this has been fed back through to the developers that with the way that the camera works, the further away it is from something, the more fog that you've got, so you can just see how far away that cliff is. So over the cliff, it just really gets foggy, and unfortunately, there's no way to turn that off at the moment, but we have provided significant feedback to the developers to have a way to turn that off, just so that we can see what's happening over the ridge.
Because while it definitely gives some nice aesthetics to the map, I kind of feel like we are actually having the Himalayas as the map right now with all that fog out here.
Yeah, it does. It looks a little bit crazy, doesn't it? So let's talk a little bit about these civilizations. This is the first time we're seeing the Holy Roman Empire for the day. DauT is going to be playing that for us. What kind of bonuses have they got access to, Lidakor?
So the big thing with the Holy Roman Empire is that you can make a prelate on your town center. This is basically a monk that's also capable of healing units, but it's unable to pick up relics until Castle Age. But the big thing is that this guy is blessing your villagers, and villagers that are blessed actually have a massively improved gather rate. So the economy of the Holy Roman Empire early on is quite nice, and after that, you can go up to Feudal Age with the Aachen Chapel, and that's a building that you can garrison the prelate into to increase its boost radius. So in general, the Holy Roman Empire have a very, very powerful economy.
Right, okay. And so now we're looking over at Don Artie's base. We'll take a little look at what he's got, and we see that mill again being placed, and it's actually researching something as well. So we do indeed see that wheelbarrow coming through for Don Artie. So is this the second game that Don Artie's gone for an early mill with wheelbarrow opening? I think it might be.
Yes, he did that in the first game, I believe, as well. Now, you see, DauT is going for the second prelate. This is what I was talking about before the game. Usually, players go for one prelate early on because they want to get to Feudal Age pretty fast. Because that's a pretty big investment. We're talking about 100 gold plus 20 seconds, so you're not making villagers in this time and you spend a lot of gold on it. It delays your Feudal Age a little bit, but it's gonna give you an insane boost, and now you will have a prelate that's boosting the food gatherers and the wood gatherers, and one on the gold.
Yeah, so one of the things that I love to do, especially with the prelates, is try and get 3 prelates out before you hit Castle Age, and then send them out onto the map to grab those relics, because you can put them all inside the Regnitz Cathedral, and they're going to be going overtime with your gold generation. But now we actually see the Aachen Chapel being dropped down here. Tell me, Lidakor, is this your preference on a map like this?
I think it's a must-have currently. The reason why is because the prelates are actually a little bit broken in the current version of the game. Sometimes they just lose their ability to inspire, and there's absolutely no way to turn that back. So the only way to undo that is if you garrison them into the Aachen Chapel and ungarrison them. So if you go up with the other H2 landmark of the Holy Roman Empire, the Minewerk Palace, there's a chance that you would just have a couple of prelates in the long run that go ineffective and you can't fix them.
Right. I didn't actually know that. I guess I haven't played enough of the Holy Roman Empire to know how to fix those little bugs that are still in the game at the moment. Keep in mind, this is only a week after release, so we're still on the starting patch. So still quite a few bugs out there, including that one. But yeah, it can be very frustrating when your prelate is just sort of standing there and you're like, hey man, get to work. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. So yeah, no surprises that he's gone for the Aachen Chapel here.
Ooh, that's a problem for DauT. That wolf... okay, he's gonna be fine. He didn't realize that. If he doesn't notice that, that villager can die pretty easily, but in melee, the villager will be able to beat the wolf. And you see, both players are rolling up, but that's just gonna favor the Holy Roman Empire here, I believe. Simply because they have an insane boom, and you see, DauT isn't messing around. That's villagers on the stone. He knows exactly how this game is gonna go.
Yeah, the fact that villagers are on the stone this early should tell everybody what there is to expect out of this. It's town center boom time. So I think this is definitely outside of Don Artie's comfort zone. He's definitely feeling more comfortable, you know, in those British, or rather English versus French matches where he gets to play, you know, into his comfort pick. But unfortunately for him, though, it looks like it's going to be a bit outside it now. This is going to be very comfortable for DauT, though, because he is indeed a bit of a boomer.
That's an understatement. The question is, what is DauT gonna do? Because we haven't really seen him booming that much in Feudal Age. He's got 300 stone though, so this is gonna be the first time where he adds a Feudal Age TC.
Yeah, his timing's actually going to look really good here. He might actually pick up a villager here. I think this villager may make it back in time. But Town Center now getting dropped down at about 5:30 mark for Don. We've got DauT, who's probably going to be dropping one any second as well. Looks like it's going to be close to that back stone, potentially. Where do we see that Town Center getting dropped down?
I think it's going to be on the food. Like, the best spot would be here on the stone, because it's right next to the stone and the hunt. Alternatively, you can think about over here. In fact, this might be the best spot, on the stone, gold, and the berries.
Yeah, that's quite good.
DauT doesn't have the wood for it, so there is a bit of an unbalanced eco. As now you see, the Prelate garrisoned inside the Archon Chapel means that everyone in this influence radius will have a crazy gather rate increase.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty ridiculous, but it looks like he's going to have enough resources to drop it down any second now, so we'll take a look and see where he decides to drop it, and he drops it down on the wood line. So interesting spot to go for. I do like this. I think this is quite good. Going to have that wood line right there for him to just sort of rally to for the rest of the game if he needs it. Now Don going to be walling up the front of his base, but we take a look. DauT manages to sneak his scout inside before the wall gap closes, and Don continuing to get upgrades in that mill as well. What's he researching now?
Yeah, villager. He's getting villager hunting. He already has the second TC up on the hunt, so that survival techniques is actually very helpful. It's worth noting that DauT didn't pick off this villager here, which he could have done, but it looks like we're just in for a booming game. I'm not so sure if that actually favors DauT here.
Yeah, I've got a feeling it doesn't. As I mentioned, Don's strengths are really in the second age, and a booming game like this, well, my fear is that it's probably going to be taking a while. This one. So look, if you're sitting down at the moment and you're a bit thirsty, walk away, go grab something to drink, come back, because we're going to be here a while. You're going to need something.
Yeah. I feel like the big thing here for DauT is making sure he doesn't die to a sudden flood of infantry, because that's what DauT could do. Like, right now he's booming, but in 3 minutes of time, he could get like 15, 20 men-at-arms in, and then suddenly there's nothing that DauT has against that. That's the danger of these booming games. I feel like the key thing for DauT will be Imperial, because that's where you get the hand cannons in. And once you have the hand cannons, the full infantry composition of the Holy Roman Empire will start to struggle.
Yeah, I agree. Now, one of the things to note is that both players have got a scout in behind the locked walls of their enemy. Don scouts this stone that is being gathered right now. He's going to know that his enemy is on stone and going to be looking at dropping down another town center. So I'm curious to see exactly how Don is going to respond to this. Now, the normal response to this would be a Castle Age follow-up. If your opponent is going for a 3 TC boom, then you would be going for a Castle Age behind that, and that's exactly what we see Don doing now. So gathering up plenty of resources and looking to head into that Castle Age. One of the things that we have been seeing players do as well is instead of going for that Guild Hall, which is a favorite, definitely a favorite of mine, a fan favorite of many people, is that players instead go for the Royal Institute, which allows them to buff up their cavalry in the Third Age with the Imperial upgrade. So the unique French upgrade would give them an extra 35% HP, which is nothing to sniff at. Lida, are we able to just click on that stone and check how much stone has been taking off there? Okay, it's
quite a lot.
Enough for a second TC. Yeah.
DauT has enough. If you look at it here, he's got 400. That's actually enough for a second, and he's gonna have some more left in the bank. Meanwhile,
Don scouts it.
Yeah, DauT is going for the Guild Hall, and now I feel like it's DauT's chance to punish this.
Yep.
Because, first of all, he's gonna beat his opponent to Castle Age, and one of the things that he will need to do is gather relics. Because it's almost guaranteed that DauT is going up to Castle Age with the Regnitz Cathedral, which is basically a building in which you can garrison 3 relics for an insane gold gather rate. They gather so much gold that the Regnitz Cathedral is pretty much the only landmark you age up with to Castle Age with the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's all about denying those. And one of the things I mentioned, earlier, due to Don's inexperience, both in Castle Age games as well as with the Holy Roman Empire, is that he may not know that. He may ignore the relics. He may not even know what they really do. And so I'm curious to see if he's going to be aware of that factor and looks to isolate those relics out potentially. But we already begin to see some infantry now coming out for DauT He's going to be looking to hunt down this scout, but it does have a fast movement speed, so going to be okay.
Yeah, I like how Artie is able to see the spearman. This should tell him that, okay, you can't go knights. And looks like he is going for monastery, which will be spotted by DauT. And we're actually seeing some royal knights coming in for now. So looks like this time around, Artie will try to do the same thing as DauT did in the previous game, just use Castle Age knights against Feudal Age spearmen.
Yeah, very, very curious. Now, it is important to note that DauT does still have that scout inside the base of Don. So Don is yet to chase that one down, despite having a couple knights there. So curious to see whether Don's going to be able to push out. But DauT is going to be able to see all of this. He's going to know, okay, there's a stable coming down. This guy is planning on making more cavalry. And it looks like DauT now preparing to age up himself, stacking up about 600 of both gold and food. And sorry, I just missed those economic numbers. Apologies, Lidakor. Are we able to see those again? It was 58 villages for Don Artie. How many villages for DauT?
That's the shocking number, 52 only for DauT. So despite the fact that DauT has 3 TCs, I don't think that he has the food eco to make all of them work, especially if he's adding spearmen. So Artie actually has the villager lead, despite the fact that he was only 2 TCs.
Forgetting something, Lidakor. He's French. He gets faster villager production.
True. That's also true.
As he enters into the castle age, he's going to have a plus 20% villager production. So essentially, he's on 2.4 TCs. So just for DauT to keep up, he has to sprint ahead with 3 TCs. So, yeah, hopefully he's going to be able to keep up with him. All right, now going up with what looks to be the Regnitz Cathedral. We can see it at the top of the map now, or at the top of the screen.
Indeed.
And it is indeed the Regnitz Cathedral. So Don now going to be looking at collecting relics as well. Has he had any success with it just yet? It looks like one towards the north of his base. Just got to be careful here. Spears moving in. Veteran Royal Knights now in as well. He could take those spears on. I don't know why he doesn't do that. That is a very good trade for him. He wants to... Yeah, okay, he's heading back in. So he wants to kill these before they can sort of become part of their mass. And I think there's actually a little bit of an opening right there.
I was just looking at it and saying, hey, this is open. And that could be a disaster for DauT, because that's a lot of knights. And it's one thing that DauT might not be able to pick up relics because of that. It's very possible that his opponent can start raiding him here.
Yeah, I don't think Don's realized just yet, though. That is a big opening. That is a huge opening, and more cavalry now going to be meeting up with it. Do we see any of these relics taken in by Don just yet? Any monks out on the map? There we go now, finally moving out, looking to deny those relics. Wow, is he actually going to be denying DauT's relics first? That would be big if he did, and he does get in! Don's found the gap! He found it! This is huge, Lidakor.
It is huge. It is just absolutely huge. And now he's using it to burn down the gate from the other side.
I don't even think he found it. I think he just right-clicked it and they just pathed that way. They were like, all right, let me just attack the gate. I love that he's just burning the gate. Like, he hasn't even checked. It's like, oh, yep, we're burning the gate. And he's like, wait a minute, we're on the inside. How do we get on the inside, John?
Well, let's just say that Artie didn't leverage the advantage that he could have gotten with that opening out there. He's actually going for the sacred sites first, not the relics. He already has one of those. DauT, with 67 villagers right now, Artie is at 78. But
what? How is French so far ahead against 3 TCs? This is unreal. Let this be a lesson to anybody wondering, you know, why is French so good at the moment? This is why French is so good. Your enemy is literally going 3 TCs, added them immediately, and yet 2 TC is still so far ahead. That's wild. That is absolutely wild to me.
And you see, at this pace, there's a chance that 3 sacred sites will be captured here by Artie, which will force DauT's hand. DauT is now going for spearmen, so Artie will need something. I love how he took down the boar here with the knights, and now he's going to use the vills on it. And with that many villagers on stone, I think the appropriate response is to drop a castle on these 2 golds in front of DauT's base.
That is definitely the right response. These golds are probably the natural golds that he's going to be looking for. Keep in mind, he does have access to a large gold mine in his own base, but he's going to have to eventually come out. He's going to have to come play outside eventually, but he's got plenty of gold in there. Has he picked up any relics and popped them into the Regnitz Cathedral just yet?
No, actually DauT managed to pick up one relic.
One.
It was from the far left. The spawn of the relics is actually marked by these little broken cards. So you see there was a relic here, and DauT has a gate. That's probably the one he picked up. Whereas on the other side, DauT is actually picking those up. But there's a chance he will just try to use them for conversions. Infantry are slow-moving. It's hard for them to get the monks when there is a meat shield in front of the monks. So that's actually pretty good for conversions. And now DauT is in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, this doesn't look good for DauT at all, even though there are more units here for DauT. The Knights, remember, they act as 2 units because they're so expensive, and we see them starting to get us around now. Look how much HP are just on these bad boys, and DauT actually getting cleaned up pretty decently right now. So many units remain alive for Don Artie. Is DauT in trouble here?
DauT is in trouble. I wonder if he's going to try to pop out the relic from the cathedral and try to get a conversion. He has the maces upgrade on the men-at-arms, so they actually perform at a decent level against the Knights. The problem for DauT is that his opponent, as you said, is just booming away. Don Artie at 90 vills. DauT's got 75 with the boost. But look at what Don Artie is doing. He's actually getting keeps up in the middle, and at this pace, he's going to trigger the victory condition. Now, one thing I'm not sure about is if he knows if there is 3 sacred sites. And the answer is no.
Oh, he doesn't. He doesn't know where the third one is.
Yeah, Don Artie might not know that there is 3 sacred sites to control. That's actually a mistake, because he could easily control the third one, and the countdown could already be going on for like 3 minutes now.
Yes. Hopefully he's checking his obnoxious in-game UI that's telling him about the sacred sites. Yes, but I mean, even if he doesn't win on sacred sites or even begin to trigger that victory condition, as we actually see he's moving units up towards the north, it looks like a scout might be moving up there. It does spot that out. So he's going to know straight away now to do that. But Don looking quite good, and one of the things I suspect is that Don would be able to look pretty decent here, even without having that sacred site victory condition, because he is getting additional gold trickles coming in from those sacred sites. Now, do we see any more relics out on the map? I can see one down to the south, but how many do you think Don's actually got?
I saw Monk.
Does that mean 3?
I saw Monk walking around the relic. He's got 2 garrisoned, and there's a third one coming in, so this means that DauT will be at like 1 at maximum on the Regnis Cathedral, which is nice. But 1 relic in the Regnis Cathedral is equal to 3 in a normal monastery. The indicator here is actually broken. You would get 100 gold per relic in a monastery, and the Regnis Cathedral gives you 300 per relic. But how is DauT going to push this one? There is keeps on all of those sacred sites.
DauT's in a tough spot because he needs to really, you know, as you mentioned, he's got to push out here. And now Don probably realizes that there's quite a bit of infantry here. He could probably take this, but I don't think it's a fight that he wants to take. Oh, never mind. He turns around, he does a little bit of a charge, and then he walks back. He probably, at this point, needs to add mangonels, I think would be really good here against this infantry composition of his enemy. All those men-at-arms coming in, swinging their 2-handed mace. Lidakor, do you think it's a fight he wants to take?
I think it's a fight that he doesn't need to take. That's the key thing. He's defending the sacred site, and now the countdown begins. The spectator overlay doesn't show the victory countdown, but I think it's 10 minutes.
Yes,
so, it doesn't...
so it'll be 18:24, so 10:20 or 24:24.
So, yeah, if in 10 minutes DauT doesn't neutralize at least one of those sacred sites, out of which all 3 of them are protected by keeps, he's going to lose the game automatically. And here's the big deal. Don Artie is going into Imperial, and once he gets hand cannons out, this army from DauT will melt.
Yeah, Don going up very quickly as well. Looking like he's going up with the College of Artillery, I think it is called. Might be the Royal College of Artillery.
That's probably the better thing to do, because the Red Palace would just act as a keep, and he doesn't need a keep right now. Looks like DauT yoinks the relic here.
Yeah, he yoinked it, didn't he? That was on... Yeah, wow, bad. Unfortunate spot for
Boiling Oil.
For Don Artie.
Boiling Oil is an upgrade that just makes your keeps much, much stronger against melee units like this. So that's actually something that's going to help quite a bit here for Don Artie to hold this one.
Yeah, Don looking in a decent spot right here. Villagers having to sprint away right now, but managing to escape. We see just to the bottom of the screen that they kind of get mad, but Don picking off reinforcements, a really nice move from Don as his villagers migrate down towards the south. And now his base is going to be under threat, but keep in mind, behind this, Don is going Imperial. It's going to take a while for those Imperial upgrades to come through Lidakor, but now the new age has begun.
Indeed. And with Imperial Age, he immediately gets the attack upgrade, and that's also something that's worth noticing. And he just needs the Elite Knight, potentially Biology, or maybe even Royal Bloodlines if he has time. and then he can take a decisive fight. Clock is ticking really badly for DauT.
Yeah, he doesn't have long now. Probably about 8 minutes that he's got remaining. And DauT realizing he's in a bit of a difficult spot here, I'd say. If we just saw one mangonel shot into this, it would potentially end the entire invasion right now. But does Don almost looks like he's letting him leave. He's like, you know what? You can live another day. I will let you. We see Don trying to bait him. Do we have any siege potentially coming through from Don at this point in the base? Do we see any... what have we got? Nothing. No real siege workshop down here. Blacksmith. There's the Royal College of Artillery.
Nothing.
University coming up for him.
Yeah, that's for biology. And I feel like DauT is just running out of time. DauT is not far away from Imperial himself, though. So as weird as it sounds like, he might need to retreat, sort of rally his forces, get to Imperial himself, and then hope to take one decisive fight before the timer runs out.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. But you can just see how fast or how close behind Don is focusing. But yeah, Elsbach Palace coming up now as well. And Don just being so cheeky. Look at him turning around, getting those knights out.
He doesn't need to fight. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Those are not elite knights yet, and that's a lot of spearmen from DauT. It looks kind of cheesy looking at all that infantry, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And now he's fighting. Has he got that elite upgrade? It looks like he might have it. The elite royal upgrade now comes in. Don Artie begins the fight and slowly begins hitting away at the units here. We can see it towards the top of the fight that the infantry are flowing over, and down towards the bottom of the fight, the cavalry are flowing over. So the numbers looking to match up, and Don Artie is beginning to melt through these cavalry. Have we got a biology upgrade on these guys? Not yet, 270 HP, but look how much they clean this fight up. Don Artie in a beastly position right now. More than 1,000 score up, cleans up the army of his opponent, and gets completely destroyed, DauT does.
Exactly. Right now we could say that this is Don army, as DauT just has a Castle Age army against Imperial Age units of the opponent. And remember, it's 6 minutes only until that GG automatically occurs. DauT, if he can mass a big group of spearmen, get the elite upgrade, and get some hand cannons behind, there might still be a chance. I just don't know what battering rams do him right now.
Yeah, I don't know what that battering ram's doing either. It might be heading down towards the south to potentially end the castle's reign of terror that it's been exerting down there. So one of the things that people tend to do, actually, let's talk about that in a little bit, because Don's getting in on the action. Does he have that biology upgrade just yet? Let's have a look at the HP.
Yeah, he
on
does.
Those. Yes, it does. Oh, that's a lot of HP, isn't it? 364, the best knight in the game. And looks like Don's going to be double keeping the south right now. I like this from Don. This is a good play. So one of the things to note is that when it comes to the sacred sites, you only have to neutralize one of them. It doesn't matter which one. People normally go for the one in the middle of the map because it's the closest, it makes the most sense. But you can just be sneaky. You can just send one unit up to the north, down to the south, as long as there's no castle protecting it, of course. And now there's a second castle that's going to be protecting it, so Don having some great foresight there. Knight's going to be looking to clean up these units on the front line. No barracks is allowed for him. Lidakor, do you think there's any way that DauT can get back into this game?
He needs to neutralize at least one side. He now has elite spearmen, so the armies are equaling out. It's just the time factor now. It's 5 minutes left for DauT, and there is just too many knights to deal with. The castle goes up for Don Artie on this side, and I think there is boiling oil in here that just melts all the infantry.
He's got boiling oil. Oh my lord, look at it. Oh, the HP from those units is just go. Oh my god, the boiling oil! Oh, it's terrible, terrible damage.
Yeah, the boiling oil is just like a mangonel shot, and poor souls think that they can escape. Oh, that was the boiling oil.
Oh my lord! Oh, that boiling oil! Oh, jeez. DauT has learnt the hard way that you do not play with fire nor oil. Oh my gosh, Don cleaning up completely right now, pulling up ahead 1.6k, and looking like he's in a pretty decent spot at this point.
Yeah, that's a fun little thing to talk about. In Age of Empires 2, each civilization had 2 unique upgrades, and literally the most worthless unique upgrade in the entire game was boiling oil, and it was taken out of the game. And now you see this in AoE 4, the redemption of boiling oil, and you see, now it's just turtling this out,
Triple
free
keep.
keeps. Oh man.
Don Artie putting on a show today, isn't he?
Absolutely.
I tell you what, if you don't know who Don Artie is after this game, you're going to know who Don Artie is, and you will not forget his name, because he is an absolute beast. I can't believe he's playing this well despite never playing an Imperial Age game before. He is he's only stuck to Age 2 fights, really, with his English, Not even that good with the French, but even showing that you don't need any experience on the French to make them work, it seems. Oh, my lord.
The best thing about those boiling oil upgrades is that playing as the French, you can make some French fries.
God. Lidakor, stop it. But now we see 4 battering rams coming out at the north. It looks like DauT is putting out not just the emergency repairs, but the emergency siege weaponry as 3 of those rams begin to make their way towards the 3 castles that stand before them. These do have boiling oil researched, and they're going to be absolutely... Let's see how they do. The boiling oil gets poured down on those battering rams, and the knights look to run in, going to be meeting their enemies in battle. We see all those healing squares go above them. Lidakor, take it away.
At this point, the group in the south might get cleaned up, but I feel like 3 keeps is a little too much to handle for those rams. One of them is about to go down, DauT's infantry is melting, and once he has to fight close to the boiling oil, it's just gonna be very difficult. He might take down 1 castle, but he's got 2 minutes to neutralize a sacred site.
I don't think he's got much of a chance, to be honest. I think this French hold is going to be very strong. More knights continuing to come in. And it looks like Artie is doing the knight-only challenge, not making a single archer, not making a single arbaletrier. He is making only knights, and it looks like he's doing pretty damn well with it. We see more knights now funneling in, 29 royal knights in total, and plenty of infantry out. We don't actually see any Landsknecht today coming out from the Holy Roman Empire. I hope I said that right. Did I say that right, Lidakor?
No, but I mean, the idea is good behind it indeed. At this point, the Landsknecht, they wouldn't do much, to be honest, because they're just so fragile. And while DauT is creating content for YouTube and Twitch, it looks like Artie is just going full only knights.
Yes, he is. He is doing very well with his Don tent, as we call it in the Age of Empires 3 community. But yes, only knights, it seems to be the way to do it. Mangonel's now coming out for Artie. Finally, Don's realized, hold on a minute, maybe I can make a second unit. Brings in the Mangonels for a little bit of backup. And at the same time, on the north side of the map, we've got DauT now dropping the infamous DauT Castle. 3 minutes, or rather 1 minute remains. 1 minute until sacred defeat. You heard those triple gong right there going off in your right ear, I think. At least that's what I heard it in. And I tell you what, Lidakor, this is looking concerning right now. He needs to get a unit onto these sacred sites. Can we check the south of the map? Are there any units down there at all? Can we check the north of the map? Are there any units up there at all?
No.
There's nothing even close. These are all secured. So many castles from Artie. How does he afford all of this? He's been investing in Bitcoin or something, Lidakor, because that is insane amounts of stone.
It is insane. And you see, even if it wasn't about the sacred site victory, DauT is running out of juice. It's 122 population steady for him, whereas his opponent is just stuck at 200. And he's not even taking fights that he's supposed to win. He's fighting with knights against the spearmen. But those knights are just so powerful.
Incredibly impressive stuff from Artie today. And now we see the good game getting called. Artie victorious, 2-1 over DauT. These 2 players both ranked inside the top 20. It's no surprise today. You asked earlier, Lidakor, who do you think's going to pull this one out? I said Artie, and I'm not surprised once again to see him pulling this out. He's an incredible player. DauT as well, an incredibly good player, but unfortunately for DauT, Don comes out on top today.
Exactly, Artie taking this, and this is a reverse sweep, by the way. In the first game, DauT looked so convincing, and then Artie pulls the win with the English over the Mongols, and this time around takes the French to a victory. Just a brutal KD here, 353 units killed, 94 lost for Artie.
Absolute insanity. Wow. Now, I've actually got a little bit of the post-game chat that went down between these 2 players. Lidakor, I can read it out to you, or otherwise we can send through, because we don't get the access to the chat anymore, do we?
Nope, we don't.
Yeah, so they're just talking about it, just saying that DauT was a little bit upset with his civ picking, that it wasn't the best by him. And that he sort of regrets winning the first game with French and not saving it for a bit later.
Ooh, it's interesting, because if you think about it, the French would give you 1 win, okay, but you need the second win, so I feel like it was more about the fact that Artie could actually win a game with the English, and then he had the French. I'm not going to say auto-win, but it's actually pretty close to that.
Yeah. Wow, I'm still in awe a little bit right now. This is Don's First big event. He's doing well. It's looking good right now for him.
And he's in the finals, so he has one set to win to get into the main event. So, I believe it's time to check out what we are doing with the finals. Donardi would be up against Luciferon. On
All right.
the second one, we have Marine Lord versus Probe. Two StarCraft pros battling it out. Vortex versus Jordan on pool 3. Then we got Recon versus Kaposh on pool 4. Pool 5 is Sorakuma versus Hera. So Sorakuma defeating Slam even. It's interesting because Sorakuma is a good player, but it was never considered an elite player in AoE 2. AoE 4 might be the redemption for him, to be honest, because he's doing really well so far. The Mista is playing versus Villas. And last but not least, in pool 8, we have Zerton versus the Viper.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like the one I'd like to see.
That's already
Lida, I'll get you just to check your DMs and take a look at that one. And I'm curious because one of the things to note about this is with obviously Viper's one of the big AoE 2 guys, but Zerton, rather was it Vortex? Give me a second right here. All right.
Okay, so it looks like we're going in for the Viper versus... Let me check that out. That's the official word. It is the Viper versus Zerton set. Zerton, if I'm not mistaken, I'll have to double check on him, but I think he is the single most accomplished player of Age of Empires Online, and I think he was the highest rated player in the technical stress test of Age of Empires 4.
Right, okay.
So hold on for a moment while we jump in there. And we'll have a best of 3 in between these two players in here.
All right, here we go. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so here we go. We'll be a little bit behind with this set, but we will watch the entire thing going on. And we do have a Mongols versus French matchup over here. So I'm gonna leave you to introduce the players while I actually set up the overlay here for our cast.
All right, so spawning in the east of the map, it is one of the greatest of all times in the Age of Empires 2 community, playing as the French, playing on the blue, it is GL the Viper. His opponent, going to be playing on the red color, spawning in on the southwest of the map. He's going to be playing on the Mongols, and he is Zerton. Zerton is an incredibly talented player. My understanding is he's from the Age of Empires Online community. So this is one of an interesting game, just simply because we don't actually have a French pick. Now, Lidakor, I'll have to double check with you. Is this a best of 3 series?
It is a best of 3 pick, and there's a French pick here for Viper. So
right. So now, Viper bringing it out in the first game. Dangerous.
Dangerous, but it could give you a nice advantage over here. Now, here's the deal. The Viper is gonna have the trade post so close to his base that trading with that early on is not really going to be a thing. Probably not even later into the game. So that's a pretty unfortunate market spawn for him, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it can be a little bit strange with these market spawns and the way that they work. But yeah, like you can see that with the Mongol, like for example for DauT, look at where his trading post has spawned. His is spawned at a very far away distance from his town center, whereas Viper's is on the other side. Now, obviously, the Mongols can move their town centers, but yeah, just very curious that they're so different. I think if Zerton had got the opposite spawn, he'd be quite upset with that trading post spawn, but undoubtedly will be quite happy with this one.
He already made a stable. I love how he built it close to the TCs so that he saves villager time, and then he rolls the stable up to the Ovu. And we might see double scouts to try and set Viper's gold mine on fire. It's worth mentioning that this is a decider set, which means that whoever wins this gets into the main event of Genesis to take 1 out of the 8 spots next weekend.
So this is a best of 3. That means that, so the first game, French versus Mongols, whoever wins that game, not going to be able to play the civilization that they win with in that first game in the second game. That might have been a bit confusing. Apologies. But yes, so no, you're not able to repick the same civ if you win with it. Yes, I like to see that we've already got a little bit of Mongol action happening. Did we have any units getting produced out of that stable? Oh, we do. 2 horsemen.
A couple of horsemen
already coming out onto the map. I'm expecting that we'll see them speed boosted, or how would you even say that? Speed boosted across the map with that Khan. It looks like Viper's actually going to spot that one out, though. We just see the scout below going to be shadowing that up. So, yeah, just going to be entering into the Mongol base now.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, the key thing with the Mongols early on is that you want to try to deny the gold income of Viper. And if you remember, we casted a Viper set versus, who was it in the second round? I'll have to check. It was Symptom. And it was a very similar game. Symptom was able to deny the gold from Viper so well, and Viper had a tough time winning that game.
Yeah, I think that, you know, one of the things with Mongols, Viper, got to be careful right here. Village is taking a little bit of a hit to the face right there. Actually, you know what? That might have been intentional. Viper probably knew that that he would be okay with that villager, that he wouldn't dive underneath the town center. But I tell you what, it must be relieving playing these games against Mongols and knowing that they're not going to town center rush. For anybody wondering why there's no town center rushing, it's because it's banned from the tournament.
It is. Just imagine both players picking the Mongols, and they just keep chasing each other around.
Yeah.
That would be
quite funny.
Let's say just a disappointment. It would be funny, but I wouldn't call it very competitive, however.
We need to pull out the Benny Hill music, wouldn't we? But Viper doing a nice little job right there of healing up the mining camp. So that was something that we saw in the earlier game with Nan Racing Cat against Don, is that he didn't bring out any villagers to heal that up because he was fearful of losing them. But Viper just came out, did a few little taps on that mining camp and prevented it from going down. But he's got to be careful here because the mining camp is getting quite close to that threshold. Viper moving out 2-3 villagers now going to be tapping that one away and looking like it's going to heal up. And look how fast it heals up. He just needs to tap for a few seconds. Knight going to be coming out and the movement speed boost goes down and everybody gets out safely except for the sheep, not the herdable sheep. Poor little Benny. He's gone down.
Such a good defense here for Viper. He really anticipated this, and his reaction was perfect. Even the poor sheep gets killed here. And now this is going to be difficult for Zerton, because last time I checked he was in Dark Age. He's just about to go up to Feudal. But Mongols can have a difficult time against the opponent's knights. You see, Viper has to mix in some horsemen himself because he was off from gold for some time.
Yeah, and a smart move from him to do that. He can just put the horsemen on a different control group and go do some raiding with it. That way, you know, it doesn't really mess up his control groups or anything like that. The Deer Stones from Zerton here is a curious decision. As we mentioned earlier, an option would have been to go for that trading route. So going up with the, what is it called? The Silver Wing?
Silver Tree.
Wing. The Silver Tree. I was close.
Ooh, that's a nice raid, though, from Zerton. These are still early horsemen, so they don't do a lot of damage, though. And, well, they seem to perform kind of subpar against Viper's villagers here. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I feel like horsemen just overall are quite subpar. I feel like majority of the time when I'm making them, I'm just losing games. And they can be very difficult to deal with. Whereas with knights, I feel like the knight is the Chad, and the horseman is the, well, I'd say the other word, but this is a PG stream, so I'm not going to say it, but he's not the Chad.
Indeed, for now, Viper will be satisfied by denying that gold mine. Could also harass the Ovu over here, as we have ranges coming in for Zerton. In the long run, he has to play Mangadai, but I feel like Viper knows that, and he's going to start adding archers soon.
Yeah, I think that it's quite important that he begins to add those archers sooner rather than later, because in this matchup, one of the things that can happen is that you can get kited around, and obviously in a game like this, it's important that you play safe, rather than not safe. And speaking of safe, it looks like the villagers need to be moving back towards safety. We actually see some of those villagers getting some tags on the horsemen, looking to take them out and saying, hey, you can come in here, but we're going to take you down. But yeah, I do expect we're going to see Viper play this one quite safe. Obviously, this is the final of the bracket. Whoever gets through this gets through to the main event. So they are going to want to do their best. And now we've got ourselves a little